Hey, Houston, we've had a problem here.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Houston, we have a problem today. 1.3a, Physics, AP Physics C, video equations, constant acceleration, and problem solving. It's a little complex video in some senses. We want to talk about the situation where we have constant acceleration and the equations of constant acceleration. So we're going to analyze and translate between graphical representations. We've done that. Derive 1D constant acceleration kinematic equations. Actually, we're going to skip the calculus part and do that a little bit later and apply kinematic relationship. So what does it mean when we say something is moving at a constant acceleration? So what is acceleration? It's the change in velocity divided by time. It's how fast something is speeding up, slowing down. Now, I know we oftentimes maybe use the term deceleration. You think deceleration is something when you're slowing down, but we're going to ban this word from AP Physics because we have acceleration and we have negative acceleration. And the reason we want to ban the word deceleration is because sometimes in negative acceleration, you could actually be speeding up. So remember the sign, the negative sign, means you have negative acceleration. Now, in some cases, like we just talked about in the last video, right, if I have a V versus T graph, here I have constant speed, but if I go down this line here, I am going from, if think of it as 10 to 0 meters per second, I am getting less fast, I'm slowing down, so I have a negative acceleration this entire time, but in this case, if I'm going from 0, if you will, to negative 10 meters per second, then we have a negative acceleration, but it's getting faster because it's getting 0, right? It stopped, because what's happened is it stopped at this point and then turned around in the opposite direction as it went in this direction. So we're going to use the term negative acceleration. All right. So when we talk about this, that leads us to how are we going to solve these types of problems? Okay. Hey, this is actually like the video that's going to help you solve the FRQ questions when you are solving physics problems. So I've got I stole this from somebody, but it's really super important. Read the problem carefully. Man, when I took this AP symposium this past year, summer, I guess, I was not as careful at reading the problem carefully. It is so important. If you miss something that's like it's slowing down, or it's so important, the nuance of each question is super important. I want you to draw a sketch. Include a coordinate system if possible, directions, list your unknowns. These are like the steps I want you to do to solve every single problem from here on out, all right? Choose an equation, or 2 or 3. Substitute in numerical values or unknowns. Okay, boom. Use algebra to solve for the unknowns. This is where you're going to have to use varsity algebra. Check the answer for units. Is this number reasonable? Okay? Now, you could use graphs to analyze the motion. A velocity graph is particularly useful. This is super important. If you can draw a velocity graph, that's almost always the best one, not the distance one, but the VT graph. Remember, the area in the velocity graph is the displacement. The slope of the velocity is acceleration. Oftentimes, a motion map can be useful with vectors to represent the velocity at various points along the path. These things all will make a big difference. When one object passes another, they have the same position. Ooh. In free fall, acceleration is always negative 9.8. Although in our class, here's the deal. AP is okay with us just using 10 meters per second squared. So unless we're in a lab, I want you to use 10 meters per second squared. It's going to simplify all the math and make our lives better, and they're okay with that. And watch for the signs of velocities and acceleration, especially in free fall. So the sign really matters. Okay? So now let's take a look at a constant acceleration problem. Actually, back up. I forgot one more thing. There are 3 key equations. Now, if you've been around Houston Christian Science, physics, you know what these 3 equations are. So these are the 3 key equations. We've got, the way I used to do it, I'm going to say x final equals x initial plus v initial t plus 1/2 at squared. You've also got v final equals v initial plus at, and we've got v final squared equals v initial squared plus 2a change in x. You, by the way, can also plug these in. I did this versus x, could also be versus y. These are the three key equations. They are all derived from calculus, and we're not going to worry about the derivation of these as that's not that important. So these are our three key equations. We're going to use that now to solve our example problem. So let's follow the rules too. I want to draw a diagram. A red sports car stopped at a red light. Okay, I got a red car. All right, boom. And accelerates uniformly at 4 meters per second squared. And the instant the light turns green. 1 second later, a blue truck travels at a constant speed of 20 meters per second, but after 1 second. So he, doesn't hit his, the sports car can go real fast and accelerate really quickly. And he is moving at a constant 20 meters per second. And he passes the sports car. Got it? How long does it take for the sports car to catch up to the truck? So in this case, we really have two equations. We're going to use the equations we have here. Pretty much, we're going to use the first equation, right? We're going to write it for each of them. So I can say the x final, where is car, red car, is going to be the 0, right? Because he's starting at the origin, plus, now he starts at rest. So this equation, the initial velocity would be 0t plus 1/2 times 4 times t squared. Or I can just simply say it's equal to 2t squared. Got it? Now, for my blue truck, I'm going to write the same equation, but I'm going to substitute this in. He also starts at 0, but he has a speed of 20 meters per second. Maybe what he was going through the light and he just kept going. So that's equal to 20. Now, it's not t though, right? Because it starts after 1 second. So watch what I do. I say t minus 1. And he's not accelerating, so it's plus 0. So I can say this is equal to 20 times t minus 1. Bingo. Now, where will they cross each other's paths? Well, it's when xf equals xf. So I can set these equal to each other. I can say 20 t per these t minus 1 equals 2t squared. So let's just do some algebra. 20t minus 20 equals 2t squared. Now, if you realize, we now have a quadratic equation, right? And at this point, I'm going to use my calculator. And at this point, I'm going to use my calculator and solve for the answers. And at this point, what I'll do is I will use my solver on my calculator. Trust you know how to do that. If not, make sure you know how to do that. And I actually get two values of t. I get t equal to 1.1 seconds, and I get t equal to 8.9 seconds. So the question is, which of these answers is correct? How long does it take for the sports car to catch up to the truck? Now, do you realize that in this instance, right, the truck is going to first pass the car because the car is just starting to accelerate, or the truck is going to go fast first, but he keeps the same motion. So at this point, we've got to decide which of these is the correct answer. But if you think about it for a moment, the car, red car guy, he is going to start moving, okay? And after 1 second, the truck is going to pass him, 1.1 seconds. But since he continues to accelerate, sports car, he will then pass the truck at 8.9 seconds. So the answer to question 1 is 8.9 seconds. Make sense? Now, how far down the road from the traffic light does he catch up to that point? Well, then what you're going to do is you're going to plug in 8.9 into one of the equations. So what we'll do is we'll use the 2t squared. We'll just say 2t squared equals 2 times 8.9 squared, and that will give us the distance traveled, which is about 157 meters. I want you to notice on this problem, you had to really think this through, use the t-1 business here. That was super important. We had a quadratic, we had to solve it, and we had a couple of answers. And you had to use some thinking, I guess, just your brain to think about which of these two numbers makes the most sense. If you put it into your solver, you may just get one answer, but you might say, there might be a second answer. And what's the meaning of each answer? So this is when the truck first passes the car, and then this is when the car passes the truck, which was what the question was asking. Hey, Houston, we don't have a problem. I hope you understand how to do these problems. We will see you in class.